If the rest of us can survive, so can you. If the rest of us can survive, I'm sure that you can too. Tom may not survive. Tom might not survive. Both of Tom's parents survived. None of Tom's family survived. Survive this, and you can survive anything. If you can survive this, then you can survive anything. We were lucky to survive. It's a miracle Tom survived that accident. It's a miracle that Tom survived that accident. There's a mirror on the wall. I don't think that anybody could survive that. I don't think anyone could survive that. I don't think that anybody could survive that. I don't think that anyone could survive that. No one could survive a fall like that. Nobody could survive a fall like that. In order to survive, Tom now needs a kidney transplant. In order to survive, Tom now needs a transplant. Do you think we could survive a nuclear attack? Do you think that we could survive a nuclear attack? We've survived another cold winter. Tom survived, even though all the other passengers were killed. Do you think I'd recognize Tom? If you hadn't turned down Tom when he came to you for help, none of this would have happened. Tom is trying to find someone who can rehair his violin bow. Tom wanted to get his violin bow rehaired. Can you eat the skin of a kiwi fruit? The strongest will survive. Did you see the fireworks display? Zzz, zzz. Think about it. I don't really want to do that either. Tom should have been killed in the accident, but he survived. Only a few of us survived. We did what we had to do to survive. Three of the children were hospitalized and are expected to survive. What do we need to survive? I've survived worse than that. I freed myself from it. Tom and his dog spent the day looking for survivors. There's a survival kit in the closet. We can't survive out here much longer without water. Tom did a lot of things that he wouldn't normally do in order to survive. There is a high probability that we won't survive. I hope I'll survive this. Tom survived the surgery, but got killed by a drunken driver on his way home from the hospital. Not many of us survived. We have everything we need to survive. Incredibly, Tom survived. The rescue team has found survivors. I don't think we could survive on just my salary. Will it be Tom or me? Tom was the first one to be invited. I met my current girlfriend in high school. Tom managed to survive. If you want to survive, you have to work. Fortunately, Tom survived the accident. That's the only way we'll be able to survive. We won't be able to survive very much longer. I told Tom that he should relax. If Tom hadn't helped Mary, she wouldn't have survived. Many people didn't survive the prison labor camps. We won't be able to survive too much longer unless help arrives. How did Tom survive that? Are you really going to press charges against Tom? All 300 passengers and the crew survived the crash. We need to be tough to survive out there. Tom had to beg on the streets to survive. Only the strong will survive. We do what we have to do to survive. Tom survived, but all the other passengers died. What is joy? It's a miracle that our house survived the hurricane. I hope we can survive on our own. Tom taught his children what they needed to know to survive. How many days do you think you could survive without water? Tom has volunteered to help us do that. Tom seems to be avoiding Mary. Everything is just the way we left it. Everything is the way we left it. All you have to do is pretend you like it. We don't need this to survive. Tom survived a bout with cancer. I'm beginning to suspect Tom was the one who did this. I wish that I had time to eat. Many of my friends grew up around here. Nobody knows how long they'll live. This milk actually tastes like milk is supposed to taste. What would you do if I kissed you? How would you feel if Tom told you that he loved you? How would you feel if Tom told you he loved you? How would you feel if you told Tom that you loved him, but he told you that he didn't love you? How would you feel if you told Tom you loved him, but he told you he didn't love you? If we don't find water that we can drink, we won't survive much longer. We'll be able to survive one way or another. Tom exercises every day to stay in shape. May I kiss you now? Tom wouldn't come in.
Tom is the man that I want to marry. Tom is the man I want to marry.